You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith. Hey there, Sprouts. Today is Friday, April 26th, 2019, and of course, we are still celebrating Easter. This week on the Catholic Sprouts podcast, we have been talking about Easter. We've been talking about how it really did happen. Jesus really did rise from the dead. How it is the biggest feast in our Christian calendar. Also, we talked about what Jesus did after he died and before he rose from the dead. How he descended into hell and therefore was able to bring back all the souls that had died before him into heaven if they accepted his mercy. We've also talked about why Jesus needed to rise from the dead, how it proves that everything he said and everything he did was true, that he really is God, the Messiah. And yesterday we talked about Jesus' glorified body, how he was like us in nature, but his body was glorified and therefore not subject to corruption and not subject to the laws of nature. Today, we are going to talk about what it means to be an Easter people. Now, perhaps at church this last weekend, you heard this song. We are an Easter people. We are the Church of God, a family of believers. Perhaps you've heard that song. Now, what does it mean to be an Easter people? Now, in a real way, it means that we are joyful, that we celebrate Easter, that we believe it happened. Of course, that is primarily what it means. It means that we do not doubt, even though we aren't Thomas and we didn't get to put our fingers into the wounds of Jesus Christ. We believe. We believe that this really did happen and that it changed everything. So that is the first thing that being an Easter people means, that we believe in the reality of Easter, that Jesus really did rise from the dead. The next thing that being an Easter people means is that we do not fear death, that we don't fear death. Now, I know none of us want to die or are looking forward to it, and we can't help those gut reactions that we have. But we don't fear death in the sense that we know that Jesus Christ went before us, that his sacrifice is going to save us from being condemned. We know that the consequence of sinning is to be condemned, and yet through the miracle, through the miraculous gift of Jesus' death and resurrection, we know that we will be saved, that we will rise from the dead. Not like Jesus, we won't come back to this earth, but that we will be taken up into everlasting life with Jesus in heaven. Therefore, we are not afraid of Satan. We are not afraid of death. We know that Jesus is bigger, that he conquered death and temptation when he rose from the dead. And finally, being an Easter people means that we look forward to heaven, that we know that this world is full of suffering. It is good to suffer, just as Jesus Christ suffered on the cross, but we know that this is not our home, that we are only here for a little while, that we are called to be faithful, to run a good race, as St. Paul put it, but that when this life is over, we will be glorified in new bodies like Jesus Christ and be taken up into heaven. So that, my friends, is what it means to be an Easter people, to believe in the reality of the resurrection, to no longer fear death, and to know that we will be glorified and join Jesus Christ in heaven when this life is over. And so, Sprouts, I hope that you are still celebrating Easter. That is my simple challenge for you today. Find a way to continue celebrating today. Say Alleluia. Sing the praises of Jesus Christ in your heart. Have some of that Easter candy that's still floating around. Be joyful, dance, sing. These are all things that we do during the Easter season because we know that Jesus Christ is bigger even than death. That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God intended you to be. Hey grown-ups, thanks for turning on Catholic Sprouts for the children that you love. I would like to invite you now to consider doing something for yourself. I have heard from so many parents and teachers that what they struggle with the most is having a personal prayer life. So I have taken this as a mission to help you pray more, pray better, and through that grow in the spiritual life. I'm currently enrolling students in a prayer course for adults. I encourage you to come check out the details over on my website, CatholicSprouts.com/prayer.